My girlfriend is bold and eats without any trouble in almost every other situation. But every single time we're in a restaurant, she becomes withdrawn, tense, and barely touches her food. I'm honestly puzzled why this pattern keeps repeating. Posted by you, why is dining out always so hard? Longtime reader, first-time writer here. My girlfriend Mia, 24F, and I, 28M, have been dating for about 6 months. She's intelligent, ambitious, hilarious, and gorgeous. We're genuinely very happy together. There's only one small thing that leaves me scratching my head. Mia really isn't keen on restaurant dates. She'll happily suggest going when she's hungry, gets enthusiastic picking the spot and planning her meal. But the moment we sit down, she shuts down and becomes noticeably on edge. Almost nothing gets finished from whatever we order. We tend to order several starters and sides to share, and then she says she suddenly feels completely stuffed and has no idea why. Outside of restaurants, at home, at friends' places, anywhere else, she can talk nonstop. People constantly tell me how witty and self-assured she is. But inside a restaurant, Mia turns almost silent. I've gently asked her about it in the moment, and she usually answers something like, "I'm not sure, I just feel strange. Sorry, I've lost my appetite." I don't get it. Later, once she's relaxed again, she'll say she's starving now and regrets not eating, then laughs at how oddly she behaved. Some background. Mia worked in cafes, bars, and restaurants through her teens and early 20s. She doesn't anymore. So the setting itself isn't foreign to her. She's never anxious like this when we go to a pub, grab drinks, or do active dates, mini-golf, hiking, dancing, etc. She's an incredible cook and absolutely loves baking. At home, she eats hearty portions. I've seen her demolish a massive ribeye like it's nothing. Early in our relationship, we went out once when we were both horribly hungover. During that meal, she said she started feeling what she first thought was an anxiety spike. Racing heart, clammy, lightheaded, off balance. But she later realized it was just extreme hunger. Still, by then she had to step outside. After a short walk in cool air, she was okay in about 10 minutes. I adore her completely, and this isn't a deal-breaker at all. But I'm confused, and I just want my girl to feel relaxed and content. If anyone has any thoughts or similar experiences, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Top relevant comments. Commenter 1. It doesn't really sound like full panic attacks, more like she just gets very subdued. You could try corner booths or tables with more privacy, and experiment with quieter versus livelier places. If it starts getting worse, you might have to mostly avoid sit-down restaurants or consider anxiety medication. Honestly, I prefer hosting dinner parties at home instead of medicating something so specific and fairly manageable. Op reply, yeah, I agree. She says she hasn't had anything resembling a panic attack in almost 2 years. The thing is, she's not a reserved person in general. In recent months, she's happily met my entire friend group and family in situations that weren't particularly easy, and she thrived. I took her to touch rugby with 30 people from work plus partners plus randoms, brand new crowd, and by the end, she was best friends with half of them. Same at my birthday, old school mates, cousins, parents, strangers, she was chatting and laughing like crazy. Everyone adored her. So no, it's not a huge problem. I'm just curious if anyone else has experienced something similar. Commenter 2, when you ask her right then, she always says she doesn't know. Have you tried having a calm conversation about it when you're not at a restaurant? Maybe point out that you've noticed this happens repeatedly and ask gently what might be behind it. One thing that came to mind, since she worked in restaurants, maybe she has some contamination-related anxiety or mild OCD-type thoughts about kitchen hygiene/cleanliness standards. She knows what really goes on behind the scenes. It could be very specific to this one area. She might keep trying to push through it mentally, but then one little thing, stain, smell, whatever, kills her appetite completely. Maybe she doesn't tell you because she's hoping it'll just disappear if she pretends it's nothing. If it's that kind of loop, it usually needs professional help. Just a guess though, only she knows the real reason. You should talk openly. Op reply, it really is extremely specific to proper restaurants. Fast food, delivery, street food, zero problem. And she's not particularly fussy about cleanliness in general. She'll happily eat food off the floor if it's within 5 seconds, doesn't care if a bug touched it, etc. Thanks for the suggestion anyway. It's honestly baffling. When I bring it up outside of restaurants, she just says, I felt strange. Or sometimes I just feel off, sorry, and kind of laughs it away. I'm not sure whether it's worth pushing for a deeper conversation about something so small. I don't want to stress her out. Commenter 3, could it possibly be bulimia? Does she frequently disappear to the bathroom right after eating at home? Restaurants might make her anxious because there's no easy private way to purge. My college roommate was bulimic and acted almost exactly like this when eating out. Google some checklists of subtle signs, see if anything matches. Op reply, God, I really hope not. But yeah, she does use the bathroom quite often. I never connected it to anything like this before. I have zero experience with eating disorders. I'm going to quietly look at those warning signs you mentioned. Thank you. Op to another comment. We're both pretty athletic and she's in excellent shape, but she eats like a lumberjack, 0 calorie counting, no diet talk ever. Pure meat, eggs, bacon, ribs, classic Ron Swanson plate. The only nutrition comment she's ever made is joking that she's only thin because she's young and hopes I'll be into thicker girls by the time her metabolism betrays her lol. Update 3 days later. Hey everyone, thank you so much for all the thoughtful replies. They were kind, honest, and helpful. Special sarcastic thanks to the person who said my girlfriend must be terrified of not fitting through the restaurant door. Comedy gold mate, I'm terrible at hiding when something bothering me, so Mia quickly noticed I was acting different. Last night I decided to bring it up gently. She immediately said, okay, spill, I can tell something's wrong. I started by saying how much I love her and how I never want to make her feel bad. She joked nervously, if you cheated you better start sprinting right now. I explained I'd noticed the restaurant thing, and while it genuinely doesn't bother me, I just want to understand so I can help her feel more at ease. I said if she didn't want to talk about it, that was completely okay. She went quiet for a bit, not angry, just thinking. Then she said she was ready to explain, but it was hard to put into words because even she doesn't fully understand it. She admitted she does get anxious in restaurants. Shortly after her dad passed away, she had a very bad anxiety episode during a meal with friends and had to abruptly leave. She thinks some part of her brain still connects sitting down to eat out with that painful memory. She has no problem with people watching her eat. It's just that her appetite completely vanishes in those settings. We talked openly for over an hour and a lot clicked into place. I very softly asked if there had ever been any struggles with food or eating itself. She was really honest. Basically, Mia's father died suddenly 2 years ago. It was devastating, and because of some difficult family history, they hadn't spoken in over a year before he passed. I already knew this part. After the funeral, she went into a very dark place, intense anxiety, almost no sleep, and for months she couldn't keep food down. Everything she tried to eat came back up involuntarily. She dropped a lot of weight very fast. She'd always been fit and never insecure about her body, but during that time she became extremely thin. She hated everything about that period, except she quietly liked how slim she looked. It was probably the only tiny, positive thing happening in her life then. That scared her deeply. She worried she might be sliding into bulimia. So she saw a doctor, got prescribed anti-anxiety medication, and learned some coping techniques. I had no idea about any of this. She's been off meds for over a year now. She's never done proper therapy to process her dad's death, but she knows she probably should. For now, we're planning more active dates, grabbing quick bites, fast food, snacks, things that don't involve long sit-down meals. I'm really grateful she opened up. I hope I can support her through this. We're looking into therapy options together now. Thank you again to everyone who commented. It helped me find the courage to talk to her. Top comments on update commenter. I feel terrible for what Mia went through, but damn, you're an incredibly caring and patient boyfriend. It shines through every word. Commenter 2, I figured it had to be anxiety-related. I used to be the same, barely ate anything, took doggy bags home, ate in private later. Bathroom anxiety, choking anxiety, everything. Different trigger, same result. Much better now, but I completely get how overwhelming it feels. Commenter 3, I relate to Mia so much it hurts. I once blacked out in a packed food court, ambulance, carried out on a stretcher in front of hundreds of people. Mortifying, no diagnosis to this day. Lost 30+ pounds from vomiting, tore intercostal muscles. Life got completely derailed for years. It took 4 months to leave my apartment, 8 months to eat anything in a car, and almost 2 years before I could sit in a restaurant again. Very slow, gentle exposure was the only thing that worked. People without anxiety have no idea how powerful and illogical those fears can be. It's not something you just snap out of. I'm so glad you're the kind of partner who listens and cares instead of judging, wishing you both healing.